It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Agronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show.
Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 410. Tonight I'm joined by Ashgar.
Reluctantly crouched at the starting line.
Grace.
I'm not doing this. Hello.
Kodra.
Pumping and thumping. Something in time.
Damn.
The green light flashes, the flags go up.
Thalen.
Churning and burning, they yearn for the cup.
Going the distance.
Going for speed.
Going for speed.
He's all alone
All alone.
in her time of need.
Anyway, hello.
Hello. Also, the apparently the error code for this one is gone, and I just love that. I love that for it.
Now just gone.
Wait,
Gone.
How's that even 4? How is that different from the 404?
I have no idea. It's apparently for saying something's missing from a cache, it looks like.
Okay. Just
If-
the file noped out.
If you don't know whether this condition is temporary or permanent, a 404 status code should be used instead. It's aha. The answer is 404 is something that could be temporarily unavailable, whereas 410 is no, this is never coming back. We're salting the earth on this one.
That's amazing. Your weekly lesson in, HTTP codes.
And also the history of the internet, because no one uses this one.
No, it was hilarious.
No.
Like we were doing something with one of the security systems, and we uncovered a network protocol that doesn't exist. Like it literally doesn't exist. Apparently, it was something that someone paid all the money to stub out a port, but then never developed the protocol.
Nice.
So we have no clue what was actually using the protocol, but
But was
What?
it built to this theoretical protocol spec?
we don't know. Like there is no document that you can go look up on ISO that defines what the spec is. Like it is just a thing. And I found somewhere down on an old Unix mainframe message board a thread that they paid the money to stub this out, but never actually developed the protocol.
Excellent. No notes.
It was amazing.
Computer science is applied history.
Yeah, but it was a fun week of us trying to figure out what that was. So speaking of nonsense, Twitter's a weird place right now.
Good grief.
Going to be that way for a little while, at least.
Yeah,
Clown show.
So-
Hooray.
Elon Musk now owns Twitter as of a couple nights ago. There's already been some drama. Like at first, folks thought that Kanye West got his account unbanned as the first action, but apparently that wasn't really a thing.
That is what. No.
He tweeted
The first Elon Musk tweeted that he had nothing to do with this. So we are trusting Elon Musk's word when we're making that statement.
That's true.
Well,
the
I think
claim
I
is
saw
that the
Wall
account
Street
was-
Times said that they had run it to ground, and that apparently his account was never actually banned. His account was in a restricted mode.
It was until you delete this tweet, your account is, frozen and the tweet got deleted. So, yeah.
Which is a thing that exists. I
Yes,
can verify
that
that
is
it exists.
That is a thing that exists.
But yeah, so it is causing yet another great exodus to other platforms. And
Elon Musk was too busy asking his new employees to print out all of their code to show him to do anything
God.
else on his
Well,
first day.
I mean,
Yeah,
let me tell you, those printers sure got a workout that day.
so the funny thing about that is I literally know someone who is a very old programmer who literally prints out everything he writes. And I'm convinced it is just a time dodge.
I mean,
Because he walks over to the printer, reads it, makes some marks on it, walks over to the shredder bin, throws it in the shredder bin, goes back to desk.
I mean,
wow.
I mean, sure, like decades ago in the olden days, yes, you printed out your code and went through it with a red pen to, to look for errors because that was your best option. But that was like
we have IDEs
the
now.
80s.
And even if not IDEs, we have good editors.
We have text editors.
We have things that know how to do diffs.
We have context-sensitive grammars.
Look,
my God.
I will admit, when I was in graduate school, I absolutely printed out my Fortran and went over things with my advisor.
Oh, sure.
But I'm not proud.
I occasionally printed out code when I was, I was in school in the 90s.
No, I was more suggesting that they were printing out resumes.
But my God.
What cracks me up, though, is like, literally, I mean, we have a high volume printer because, my wife's a teacher and prints a lot of stuff. But like, I will legitimately print something maybe once or twice a year, usually involving printing off crap to take to go get taxes done.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is another relevant question, but was Twitter like fully back to work in office?
I don't know that we know yet, but given the man's statements about work from home, I have to assume so.
Wow.
They're going to have a lot of people leaving.
Oh,
man, there's a
lot of people
lot
are already gone.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing is that a lot of the worst part is it's like, oh, don't worry, I'm only going to cut like the bottom 75%. All of the top 25% I'm going to retain. It's like, no, you're not. You're going to like...
Not how that works.
The top 25% is going to hear these messages and be like...
They're already gone.
Yeah, I can go do something else.
They saw this deal coming and immediately started sending resumes. They're already gone.
Well, and I have to assume workers at Twitter probably tended to have a lot of stock in Twitter.
Yeah.
So they made bank. They can get the hell out and just, do whatever for a while.
The upper ones anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the top 25% of engineers.
Why do you want to leave your current role? Well, I currently work at Twitter. Oh, all right.
Oh, say no more. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. Easiest slam dunk interview question.
It's...
I'm actually curious. I'm vaguely curious how the vesting structure is working. Like if people if the unvested shares got managed, or if this also led to people getting a massive pay cut. Like either way, they're probably getting a massive pay cut because a lot of people probably had outstanding RSUs, and those RSUs no longer are going to exist. So that's a significant amount of compensation being taken off the books that somehow their HR department's going to have to make up, or else they are actually like, I'm not going to say they're giving people a pay cut because they're probably paying those people out ahead of time in some cases, but there's not going to be any reason for people to stay.
Yeah, it's weird times.
I don't know. I saw someone commenting on that it was weird to have lived through the entire social media era.
Well, and as has happened before, anytime something happens on Twitter, there's been a mass exodus to Mastodon / Fediverse, and like,
yeah, well, that's still a mess.
It is still a mess.
Yes.
Like, and it is not super user friendly, but like also it's been interesting to have been on that platform for 4 years and have watched numerous of these happen, because at this point, like, I'm part of the old guard now.
Okay, but on the Fediverse, this thing that you ensure me exists and is real, is there actually like pretty routine traffic? There
are regulars? Yeah.
There are regulars. Okay.
It depends on your instance mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it really does deeply depend on your instance.
Yeah,
but
it's not one big like thing. Like
I mean,
Twitter.
that's the piece that confuses everyone on day one.
It's kind of more like Discord.
Is that none of these servers are actually connected. So like, if you think you're signing up on one, you may be signing up on something that you didn't intend on.
But you can follow people on different servers.
You can.
And you can have a feed that is, unless your your server owners are dumb.
Yeah, unless you're
You
monitoring
can see
people
your
on
other people's posts from other
Right.
servers in your
But
there's
the
some feed setting that allows for that.
The problem that has run out is Mastodon.social is basically the flagship instance. It's the first one by the dude what came up with Mastodon. It is also fairly lawless, and they've refused to do any administration on it. So
Just free
as a
speech.
result, most of the more niche, smaller servers have just taken it out of the Federation. So if you end up on that server, you basically can't see a good chunk of the network because they've blocked them. And that is the problem with like little islands and Federation is like they could just decide to stop federating. So like it reminds me of the days of IRC when a net split happened and like part of the network disconnected from the rest of the network. Like, so you've got little islands that technically do work, but like whether or not you can talk together depends on a lot of variables. So last time one of these things happened, I ended up moving off of Elic, which was the gaming focused, very queer, very leftist gaming focused instance that I had eventually settled into and really liked, but was now self cut off from the rest of the network for the most part. And I ended up finding mstdn.social, which is a fairly neutral, fairly generic server. So it is a nice place. But what is funny to watch is like there's a whole, like everyone there is very nice, but they also know that more than likely in a week, most of these people will be back on Twitter. So there's almost like the townies and vacationers type thing going on.
Yeah. I mean, you could just, wait until Blue Sky is available and ready for everybody.
What is Blue Sky?
That's Jack's new thing that he announced the day Elon Musk took over Twitter.
That's a horrible idea. That's a bad idea.
Amazing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, and I know that.
So the entire point of his thing was the thing he said he wanted for Twitter was to actually make it a decentralized protocol.
Jack?
He wants to, Jack.
Yeah.
And he wants to launch this as that thing.
Yes.
I mean, why doesn't he just make a Mastodon server?
Because Mastodon has problems. Let's be clear.
It does. It absolutely does. Well, and then there's the other side of this that is like, even if Mastodon functioned perfectly, people use Twitter because people use Twitter.
Yeah.
And nobody remembers what the Twitter experience was on the first day they joined.
Mm-hmm.
I also do have this question of like, how has Jack managed to find a business model that will make less money than Twitter?
It's real hard.
Takes skill. But,
like
if anyone can do it.
But like you're building a protocol, not the infrastructure, and like how are you making money with this?
Oh, other people will license it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, we're definitely not in the proprietary age.
Goff.
All of these big companies just love using open standards.
Yep.
I miss XMPP. That's all I have to say there. That was the old Google Talk protocol.
I mean, apparently IRC is still hopping because people have decided that it's not as bad a protocol as they thought.
I mean,
the only IRC server I used to be on is now on Discord.
The other thing that I've run into is like with all the talk of, Mastodon as Twitter, like there's a bunch of other designer imposter versions of past networks. Like if you really loved LiveJournal, there's a place called Co-host, which is basically just like a different version of LiveJournal. If you really liked Facebook, but like hate Facebook, there's something called MeWe, which is kind of just like old school Facebook.
What if I'm just absolutely obsessed with ICQ?
I don't think that one's back now. I don't think it's back.
ICQ isn't back yet?
I still remember my 6-digit UIN though.
Like ICQ still exists.
think it got bought by a Russian company at some
It
point.
is owned by VK, but that's not the point. It still exists.
Didn't LiveJournal also get bought by a Russian company?
Yes, and there's a
That one I
lot
don't
of
know.
question about those accounts because apparently it is hell to recover your account. That came up in a conversation the other day.
Since we're talking about old internet, apparently there's been like attempts to get into contact with anyone who still runs the fanfiction.net website. Basically, no one's returning anyone's calls.
Oh, wow.
So we have no idea. Like, it could just disappear.
Yeah, because if nobody's responding, then maybe nobody's, going to pay the bill the next time it comes due.
Yeah. It's definitely a bit of an area of concern for a lot of people, and maybe there are some archivists looking into how we can make sure we pull down what we have up there.
I was going to say, I bet the
Was
Internet
there a recent
Archive is on
update
that.
as of earlier today?
Oh, no, I haven't checked.
Yeah, they posted that they were tracking down some memory leaks, did some hardware migrations earlier today.
Interesting. Okay.
So apparently somebody's behind the wheel.
All right.
Yeah, my favorite of the new, not quite what they used to be networks is Space Hay, which is a MySpace clone.
Oh, nice.
Oh my.
I saw a retrospective on MySpace the other day, which was like, Facebook didn't actually kill MySpace. MySpace killed itself, and Facebook just happened to be there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Has anyone stepped up to replace GeoCities?
Yeah.
Several people have attempted to do that, and I think there's a more recent one.
There's
been a very recent attempt.
There's a thing called NeoCities.
NeoCities, interesting.
Can you have Neopets there?
No, Neopets turned into an NFT.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure all your Neopets are owned by the Church of Scientology and have been turned into NFTs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your Neopets are dead now. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. It doesn't make me less sad.
Yeah.
I remember using Neopets. Like, that was a cool thing. Like an early...
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, there weren't many online games that ran on websites at that point.
Today I learned that Viacom owned this starting in 2005, which I think was after I mostly stopped using it, but it was branded with the Nickelodeon name until 2014.
Wait, NeoCities or Neopets?
Neopets.
Oh my god, they did.
I guess this tells you about when everyone
apparently-
here stopped looking at Neopets.
Yes, well, that was my senior year of high school.
Okay, so that was... Okay, so the Scientologists sold it to Nickelodeon, and the Nickelodeon sold it to China. Got it.
Oh my god. Speaking of which, the Korean company that owns Hellgate London resurrected Mythos.
Is it bad?
Oh, it's just as bad as Hellgate London. But like, remember, Mythos is a game that never...
That was a game that never launched, though.
It never actually launched. So like, of course it's worse.
That's impressive.
Yeah, no, it absolutely... I think it's on Steam now.
It hit Steam on September 7th.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like...
So what you're saying is there's a hope for me to be able to play Rhizome yet?
Yeah, Rhizome is out there.
Rhizome launched.
Rhizome?
That's a game that existed and died.
It's on Steam.
Oh.
Are you thinking of Wish? Wish is a game that never existed.
Wish was my first MMO beta.
Oh.
That was the game that I thought, like, I want to see this MMO thing. I got in this beta. Let me see it.
My first.
Yeah, that's another game that never launched.
I think my first MMO beta was Ragnarok. That did launch, and I hear was pretty great.
I don't think I know anyone who played Ragnarok on the actual official servers, but yes, people do like that game a lot.
I think my actual first beta was probably Dark Age of Camelot for an MMO beta, because I don't remember beta testing anything for EverQuest.
I mean, I
But
did
I
EverQuest
absolutely
Online
got
Adventures
into-
when that came out. I was in the beta for that.
Yeah, I didn't have a PS2
And
at that time. Or
I was in the
online
beta
adapter.
for the when Ultima Online did its like 3D upgrade. I was in the beta for that. I think that might have been my very first. Whichever of those two came first.
I remember being in the beta for Sims Online. That was a weird game.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, I feel like that has become like a cautionary tale. If you build a wide open enough game, people will form organized crime syndicates and like do every illegal thing that you can think of.
Yes, there was a guy I worked with that ran a brothel in Sims Online. He was not exactly a very reputable person. So the continued fallout of Magic 30th anniversary is happening. And the general takeaway from the community seems to be, sweet, now we can just play with proxies. So
that's the correct takeaway.
As an experiment,
I missed the announcement, I think.
The announcement of the $1,000 proxy packs.
No, I knew that, but I don't know what the follow-up was.
Well, the follow-up is basically like, hey, people are going to start pressuring people to let them use these proxies in casual play. And so maybe everyone should just agree, you know what's actually cool? Not paying $1,000 for proxies and just using like cool proxies you print off.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That has been the universal takeaway. So like, I was curious and went on to wish.com and bought 2 packs of the cheapest Magic proxies I could find.
So how cheap is the cheapest?
So it was $10 for 180 cards.
Right.
No, $10 for 360 cards. It was like $5 for 180 cards. And I thought by buying from different vendors that I would get basically the same set, like the Power 9 plus other super powerful cards from Magic history. One of those was that, but the other one was like way more modern power. But basically, like, they're not good proxies. Like, they look like the cards. They feel nothing like the cards. They remind me kind of Upper Deck baseball cards. They've kind of got that bendy, it's high quality stock, but like it's a trading card stock, not a game card stock.
Yeah.
There's definitely a concern of like, how obvious is it when it is in a sleeve that you are handling a not Magic card?
So like this is good enough that I think sleeved I couldn't tell the difference between the cards.
Okay.
Like it's the right thickness. So
I know a big thing a lot of people do is just like glue new art onto a existing card.
Right. but that then makes a thick card.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But like, so yeah, for $10 I have 360 of the most powerful Magic cards with no dupes. Like I checked, there's no dupes between the two sets, and they are just as legitimate for tournament play as what Wizards is selling.
So yeah, it's true.
You paid 1% of the price.
And I kind of like that they're not good, because there will never be a question as to whether or not this is a legit card when I compare them to other cards in my collection.
Yeah. So the other thing that's like the example is the Magic Collector's Edition. And I kind of just wish they reprinted Magic Collector's Edition.
That's what everyone thought they were going to do, was that this would just be $1,000 set of Collector's Edition. And if that were the case, probably everybody would have been happy.
Well, I'm not sure people would have been happy, but they would have been less mad.
Yeah.
Right. But like comparing it to like collectors or international collectors, it's like $20,000 right now. Like this would have been a better option, and it's at least got rounded corners. But anyway, like it's been surprising how, like, I keep tabs on various aspects of the Magic community, from the finance to the players to, it is shocking to me how this line hasn't broken yet. Everyone is just real pissed about it.
I'm surprised finance isn't like, yeah, we're going to buy this.
It's too much.
It's too much. Like,
too much. Just
like
too
for
high for even that.
$1,000, you can buy several alpha cards. They may not be like power alpha, but like you could buy legit cards for $1,000.
And this is $1,000 to not get a good card, probably.
Yeah, because
There's already a video up of someone opening the packs, because apparently this weekend some Magic tournament is going on.
It's MTG Vegas.
Yeah,
it's their big one.
So they sold these packs ahead of time, and if you bought the Black Lotus pack, which was like a $700 ticket for the show, you got this backpack full of stuff, and inside of the backpack is 4 packs of collector's edition or whatever, anniversary edition. So anybody that bought the uber expensive ticket now has some of this stuff, and some of them have opened it. And sure enough, 1 pack had a lace in it. 1 pack had a life grip or a death grip in it. Like the best card they pulled was a Mana Vault, but like,
I mean, Mana Vault, like the real Mana Vault, is a good card.
Yeah.
Well, they pulled a Mana
In
Vault and they
Commander.
pulled a Scrub Land, but like
Ooh.
Scrub Lands are the dual lands were basically made uncommon for this set, so they're way more common. So they're not going to be worth anything, or at least not worth a significant amount. Not like they were. So
But
yeah,
Mana Vault is not even a reserve list card. It gets reprinted on the regular, and it's still like a $50 card. But still,
right. But like looking at that pack, if they were trying to flip that for money, they would not have broken even at $1,000.
I'm fascinated that the duels are in the uncommon slot for some reason.
That's one of the reprints that everybody wants.
Because those are, I mean, yeah, but they're not.
So the actual thing I'm hearing is the reserve list needs to die in a fire.
Yeah, well,
It does.
everyone tends to agree that the reserve list needs to die in a fire.
Everyone except for the people that own a lot of it.
Sure, but they can get fucked. Like I have no sympathy for that sort of thing, really.
Pretty much.
I understand the collectors who want to have like one of every card, and sure, that's fine. I do not have any sympathy for people hoarding cards on the reserve list because they're on the reserve list, and therefore their prices only go up.
Well, and there's a lot of cards that have gone up kind of artificially that aren't really that good, but only went up because they're rarity.
Sell one to Card Kingdom last year because I happen to have it in a deck. Is that card good? Is Master of the Hunt good? No. Master of the Hunt is not a good card. It's the only card with bands with other on it.
Well, like, I don't think Wheel of Fortune is a terribly good card.
Wheel of Fortune's a great card.
Wheel
of Fortune is a wonderful card.
Wheel of Fortune's a wonderful card.
I wish it could get reprinted because it's like they keep reprinting worse versions of it, and those are still good cards.
I think there's a Magus version, isn't there?
Magus of the Wheel, yeah.
There's a Magus version. There's like a Wizards version. There's a Miracle version. There's a bunch of versions of this card.
But like forever, that was a $50 card, and now it's a multi-$100 card.
Yeah, it was a $50 card for a very long time. But they can't print it, so here we are.
And then there's things like Stone Calendar that have been pushed up and nobody really knows why.
The reserve list needs to die in a fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
It will be interesting to see if literally everyone does hold the line, or if as soon as it starts,
the collectors
literally
buy the crap out of this thing.
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
Well, maybe what those collectors should buy is a sweet working Chandra Gauntlet.
Yeah, that thing looks neat.
That honestly looks really awesome. And it costs a lot less than a box of this.
Yeah, you for the just over the price of 1 pack, you could get working Chandra Gauntlets. Or for less than the price of 1 pack, what I might be more interested in is you can get the Advent Calendar, which has a bunch of sweet cards that are really great, and also with new art.
Well, the other debacle that happened this week is the Secret Lair drop, where I don't know what the drop is, but they're apparently no longer going to sell a foil version and a non-foil version. And instead, you're going to get 70% of your cards in foil and 30%, or 70% non-foil and 30% in foil.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah,
but it will be a randomized assortment.
That's what they did with the like the J set and the Commander collection as well. But that's dumb.
So, like, if you want a foil set, you're going to have to buy multiple sets. If you want a normal set, you're going to have to sell off the 30% of the foil cards and try and find someone selling the non-foil cards.
So having looked, most of the normal ones, having looked, the original sets were like this. The normal sets are still like this, but they put out a new 30th anniversary set that is that thing. the dumb thing where it's 30% chance of being foil.
Is the 30th anniversary? Is that the advent calendar I was talking about? I think it is. There's like 25 cards on there.
30 cards in here.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's
yeah,
designed,
basically it's this. Yes.
It's designed to be like an advent calendar. It's the one that has the sweet necropotence.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm okay with that. Again, it's kind of designed to be like an advent calendar.
Yeah. The community is not on board with that, especially on the backs of the 30th anniversary packs. WotC is not real popular at the moment.
I don't know. I'm about to get the Brothers War and so many Urzas and so many Mishras.
Did you need all the Urzas?
Yes.
Yes.
Magic after a almost 25 years, Magic is laser focusing on my personal interests. I read that book. I'll read it again.
It was a great book.
It was a great book.
We've also got Teferi rolling around here. Not that Teferi.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the past, so of course Teferi's there. But
Teferi would have already been there, except wait.
No. It's old young Teferi.
Yes.
Sorry, this isn't making sense. Teferi was a planeswalker. He was an old wizard, an old time mage. His spark ignited. He became young and started planeswalking and time traveling. And so now the older version of himself, which is of course younger looking, is traveling into the past where he was to witness the Brothers' War.
Yes.
Where he was actually a young student during this time period.
No,
I don't know if we're getting that card.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting a Hercule. I'm excited for a Hercule.
Is it a board wipe? It should be a board wipe.
Hercule?
Recall.
Yeah, Hercule's Recall. No, she's a wizard.
I'm thinking of Nevinyrral.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Nevinyrral. No, Hercule's Recall is a great old card.
It's the return the artifact from the graveyard card, isn't it? Or something like that?
I thought it was like a really powerful bounce spell. But no, she is a legendary wizard, which is a very big interest to me.
It was a
bounce spell
for all artifacts.
Yeah.
Oh
okay.
yeah. Anyways, we've got Urza on one side, who is blue, white, black. We have Mishra on the other, who is blue, red, black. And then we've got green in the middle, wondering what they did to deserve this set.
Green knows what they did.
I mean, green appears to be continuing to commit crimes during this set, so no comment there. Titania, Voice of Gaia. That's a card.
Yeah.
That's definitely a card.
Yeah, it's going to go into the most annoying decks. The decks that want to put lands into grave. It's like Soul of Windgrace and Lord Windgrace decks just want to jam this, right?
Absolutely, yes.
What's wild about this is, okay, so we're closing out the year with Brothers War, and then in February we're getting Phyrexia again.
Yeah, where is it back on new Phyrexia?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
And I think that basically Phyrexia is invading Dominaria, maybe? Again?
Phyrexia
It's definitely been a thing, because that's what the last set was.
Yeah, Dominaria United was Phyrexia invades Dominaria, and we lost Ajani and Jaya. Sad. I'm kind of hoping that maybe that we discover there's something interesting going on in this whole Brothers War thing, and that plays a part. We want to refresh our history.
I mean, I just
on one hand
completed Ajani.
I mean, that's basically what we got.
Yeah, we got completed Ajani. It's very sad.
Normally I would say the Brothers War is just, a set based on the past, like the Nicol Bola set they did a few years ago. Because this is this year's core set, basically.
Yeah.
Going in place of this year's core set. But it's a little unclear, if that's true, with Teferi showing up as current Teferi.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wonder if they're going to tie that in somehow.
Oh man, current Teferi is such an exciting card for me. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on this Teferi. Oh, in blue, I'm going to be drawing so many cards. and then it's -2 gets a creature that gets +1/+1 counters whenever you draw a card.
This card isn't even out yet, and people think it's going to be very expensive.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a problem. I think it's gonna be a problem in Standard. I think it.
Maybe wait till it gets banned from Standard to pick it up for Commander.
I think it might allow Control to have some space. Currently, I don't think Control has a lot of space in the current metagame.
I would like to point out that the last time Control had space was when there was a different Teferi going up the works.
Oh, yeah. Seems like Teferi is like...
the patron saint of Control decks?
Yeah, well, Teferi's like identity does just seem to be generating a bunch of design space that's problematic for the game.
Details. I like the one that lets you use Planeswalker abilities in instance.
As I said, a lot of Teferis end up being problems. There was definitely that moment where we had like 3 mana Teferi and like 5 mana Teferi, and both were issues.
You could put together a Teferi commander deck now, but your problem there is that your only commander option is just blue.
Yeah, no.
And almost all the ones printed now are blue-white.
Yeah, you want both blue and white. I mean, I could probably add a whole bunch of Teferis to my Wizards deck, and it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, I need to take that back. It would be exceptionally annoying.
As long as you know that.
Like blue.
I mean, what you really do not want me to have access to is the ability to flash in 3 mana Teferi.
I mean, blue is the fun police color, and Teferi is super fun police.
I mean, this deck was built based off of a D&D character who was as much of a hard control mage as I could build in D&D.
I'm noting now, they brought this card into Alchemy, and when they did, it costs 4 mana.
Ah!
So even Wizards thinks this card was a mistake too. I mean, obviously they banned it.
I'm actually curious, in Alchemy, is it nerfed in any other significant way? I thought it was. I thought you don't get to draw a card off of the bounce effect.
You still do.
Okay.
So when they alchemy a card like that, if they print it in a future version, will it be the alchemied version?
No, it won't. It'll just be the old one.
They can fix their errors in Arena. They cannot fix them in paper.
The alchemy version does have an extra loyalty counter to start too. But yeah, this is not a fair card in any way.
There are certain cards where it's things were ambiguously worded, and so maybe go to the Oracle text to see exactly what they say, but they've never done power level alterations to errata to cards. Well, I take that back. They haven't done any... Well, no, I guess that's fair. They've never, changed the text of a card. They have changed core rule mechanics. Companion got completely power level nerfed.
Yes, Companion as a mechanic got completely power level nerfed. Bands with Other gotten changed twice.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that there's only one card that uses it.
Yeah, that's because banding is a problem, and Bands with Other is just, problem on top of problem.
It's hilarious. It's a hilarious rules interaction. It's hilarious to me personally because I was running a deck that contained it. But yeah, fair.
There was I don't remember what it was, but there was an ambiguous wording on older versions of Winter Orb that was later clarified. And just because your older version says something differently doesn't mean that you can use what's written on the old card. You actually have to use what does the Oracle text say. But they don't update Oracle text as part of Alchemy.
So last week on the show, we talked about the server that was chosen in New World being a lockdown. That is no longer the case.
Yay!
The server is completely open. Elian is transferred onto it. But also, there's some other weird things in the mix for... I think they've realized some of their new player experience changes have not worked out like they expected. The fact that it takes forever to join a guild. You are what level, Kodra?
I just joined the syndicate. I'm level 27. I was burning my way towards this too.
Yeah. No, I think I joined a faction at level 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely 30 something.
And
So the fix they have for this on the PTR that will be going in at some point is just the second you drop in the game, you can join a faction or join a company.
Oh, that would be so much better.
Like, you can't join a faction, you can join a company.
Oh, you can join a company. Okay.
Yeah, I misspoke. Yeah, so you'll basically be able to guild as soon as you drop into the game. And I think that's like what has frustrated people is like, I can't join the guild yet because I'm still not Everfall and work through these quests, one of which is wildly out of band for the level range.
Oh, it's so funny. It's like, hey, you're level 19. You should be able to join a faction. Now, all you need to do is go up like north, maybe like 500 yards. Don't worry about it. Oh, that thing that says you're in a level 32 zone? No, don't sweat it. You'll be fine.
Well,
spoilers, I was not fine. There are a bunch of just roaming around level 31 guys, and yeah, they will just kill you.
It was brutal.
Yeah, it's an Angry Earth area, and you know how Angry Earth like to poison you. So like that's a problem, and hopefully they've got a fix for that in there. They're doing some interesting things to tweak the way that servers will function from, like, especially from a PvP side. So right now, what ends up happening on most servers is that there is a core group of hardcore PvPers that basically controls the flow of a faction.
Gasp. I'm shocked. Who could have predicted this?
So what ends up happening is the same 50 people are in every single war.
Shocked.
So apparently one of the tweaks that they're putting in with whenever the PTR patch lands is all players can attack one territory per week and defend one territory per week.
Oh.
So wars are going to have to get more diverse, or people just need to stop having a constant chain of wars.
Are wars both fun and profitable?
I mean, they are fun if you like PvP, I guess.
Yeah, but sure, but like, okay. I guess that's my point is like, so why is all of this war happening constantly?
Because people want to control territory because you get a fat payout every week for controlling a territory.
Okay.
And it has been basically normalized to where all territories are essentially valuable. So like all of the coin that comes in from all of the players gets basically escrowed and then doled back out to the companies that control the territories based on a bunch of parameters. So like if you have upgraded your town, you get more coin than if you are being a slumlord and keeping the machines at the bare minimum level and all of that stuff. So that was a change that went in with Brimstone Sands. And that was a good change because people seem to actually care about keeping their towns upgraded. Something that they're doing with this next change is that all but the highest end of crafts don't care about crafting machine level.
Okay.
So like,
I am very excited about this change.
If you just want to level up and you want to go through the sequence of iron to steel to star metal to orichalcum, you do not care about crafting machine level.
Okay. Neat.
If you want to craft named epic items, I think you need a tier 4. And if you want to craft legendary items, you need a tier 5. So you will possibly need to travel to somewhere that has one of those. But again, like the companies are incentivized to upgrade the crafting machines all the way because they get a better payout if they upgrade the machines all the way, but it won't actively harm crafters that are on lower pop servers quite so much.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, like I thought that was just a universally good change. I'm accidentally level 60 and have been for a while.
Gosh, so
what
surprising.
a shock.
I mean, Grace is 40 something.
I've been gathering a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so like that's really the difference this time around is gathering is worth so much more XP. I mean, I was gathering constantly and doing very little questing and was just throwing on the levels left and right. I think right now my mode of play is I have now basically unlocked all of the banks in the game, and while I'm roaming around and doing quests, I am filling up those banks with raw resources I've picked up along the way. And then I will do a bulk crafting session and get a bunch of levels all at once, and then go back to questing and continue to gather up like hemp or, whatever resource I happen to find along the way. So like the other day when I did a bulk crafting session, I think I had 1,500 star metal bars just sitting there waiting to be used.
That's a lot.
Yeah, like, I mean, I could have made a good penny off of it, but I'm trying to level crafts.
I need to find a method of getting reliable flux and sandpaper and all of those reagents. I am annoyed that I still just have to find them in chests and constantly run out.
That's the only option. I mean, or you just buy them, because the market has dropped enough to where it is reasonable just to buy 500 at a time.
I guess that's one way to do it.
Because the other day when I bought flux, it was 0.3 per flux. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad just to buy a big stack of it.
I mean, the other thing that's slightly frustrating, I appreciate that they got rid of all of the different kinds of flux. It makes life much simpler. The downside is what you used to be able to just change most of them into something else that you take what you have more of and turn it into whatever you need. And now your crafting skill has to be, I don't know, something I don't have yet, 150 or something before you can do that.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was annoying. Because they used to sell different variants of those doodads on the faction vendor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
that's what I was using faction vendor for.
Flux and whatever the reagents are get less of a problem once you've capped your harvesting, which again is not a great problem to have, but so like I've capped mining and I've capped skinning. So every third of a level that I do in mining now, I get an aptitude chest, and the aptitude chest has just a bunch of high-end materials and also like 60, 70 flux at a time, or wire weave or whatever the specific item is for that trade skill harvest. So like you do get to a point where you have plenty of it, but like not when it really matters.
Yeah, while I'm still trying to level stuff, it's feeling very limited.
Well, that was ultimately what would push me back into questing while I was leveling, is I would need just reagents across the board. So like, I guess it's time for me to quest for a while and loot all the boxes while I'm questing. The higher you go, the more each box seems to pay out.
I mean, that's probably my other problem, is I'm still running around in sort of the entry level zones, because that's A, they have resources I still need, and B, I'm just doing all the quests and doing them all very slowly. So that's where I am still.
Yeah, like I just looted a chest just now and it had 15, and I'm in a level 50 zone. So not massively more, but a little bit more.
But I shouldn't complain too much, because it does, I don't know. The gathering in this game is so good.
It's so good. And you know what? I was joking. I was kind of worried that this game's story was going to get better, and like I would be really invested and I would want to like pay attention to what all the NPCs are doing. But no, it's still pretty terrible, and I can just mostly click through and keep disengaging that brain and going around and go where the map tells me, smash the peoples that are there, collect the loots, get the iron, get the trees, just, do whatever. And it's a fun place to like sort of just tune out in. It doesn't doesn't have a ton of it doesn't ask a ton from me.
Right, and the combat is just interesting enough to make it fun to smash through mobs.
Oh, it's so visually satisfying too. Like so I'm playing Greatsword and Hammer, and everything I'm doing just has such delightful heft. Greatsword just feels ludicrously overpowered.
I should try Greatsword. Honestly, I liked that there was more story, but because there wasn't enough for me to sink my teeth into, it's not the game that I kind of got attached to.
Nope, I totally get that.
Well, I'm perfectly happy that this game doesn't have a compelling story to me, because I abandoned my old character, which was a significant chunk of the way through the story. And I sort of vaguely remember what happened, but if I really was invested, I would be real frustrated starting over again on a new server. And instead, no, this is fine. I can start over my crafting. It's really satisfying to do low level crafting and gathering. This is totally okay.
Yeah, and they're giving me these bonuses, so I'm actually gonna do the thing like where I try and level up. I get Fey Iron for some reason.
Well, and the thing is like now that you can just convert bulk resources to the rare materials, getting the rare materials just feels good because it feels like a bonus. Like if you really need it, you can just make Fey Iron.
Oh, but is Fey Iron supposed to be out in the world somewhere?
Yeah, it drops off iron. It is.
I haven't gotten any of it.
All of the materials have a pretty deep loot table, and you will just, as you get better level in a skill and as you get better tools, you will have more likelihood of getting Fey Iron, Whisperwood, Sacred Orbs, or whatever there's a bunch of different versions of these that are like bonus metals that are used on the named patterns. But like it used to be, the only way you could get it was equip a luck set and hope. Now you can just like bulk convert iron into Fey Iron. It's a pretty lossy conversion, but like if you want to craft a specific thing and you are out of unobtainium, you can just make unobtainium.
Right, who cares? I just need to craft one of these to get the double bonus to XP.
Yup. And then like going through the dungeons unlocks materials, which unlocks a whole series of other patterns. So
wow, you can really also just treat your various cities' storage things as fungible locations, can't you?
It is. Like that's why I say like I have like 20 of these things now, and I just fill them up. And when it's all full, like one of the early things that I did was just run to a bunch of towns. Because you have to go to the town once in order to unlock its storage. But like Gratz, you just got 2,000 storage.
Yeah, it does seem nice.
So like it's created this really nice flow of I'm just going to run amok and gather everything and kill everything. And then once my stores are full again, I'm basically like preparing for winter. You know, I've packed the stores, and then I will choose a town and craft up all of the resources all at once. So that's how I ended up with like 4,000 iron or whatever that I converted up to, 1,500 star metal through multiple losses or whatever. But that was like many days worth of just gathering everything I happened to see in my sight. But like the thing that I've noticed is a lot of the crafts are so much better than they were, but then others really suck. Arcana sucks compared to what it used to. Cooking sucks.
Yeah, what happened?
Cooking sucks. I don't know. So maybe it was just that like cooking used to be really cheap and really easy.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
By just like go get a bunch of water and a bunch of berries and a bunch of like crappy materials and just bulk craft 3,000 of a thing and call it good. Whereas now you actually have to craft all the weird rare things. So it means you're having to spend a lot more time tracking down, cinnamon or whatever material you need for that. I think cooking needs to just be retuned because it does not work right now. And Arcana, you used to also be able to bulk craft. You could just basically get all the high sop in the world and make alkahest until you hit, 200. And now you also have to craft all of the staves and all of the gauntlets.
And I need those resources to level other things.
Yeah. Yeah, you need iron and wood and everything to make the gauntlets and the everything else. So, yeah, Arcana got awful. But weaponsmithing used to be one of the worst things to level, and now it's super easy. So I still need to spend some time adjusting XP curves, I think. And lumbering, for whatever reason, lumbering is so hard to level right now.
The converting wood to lumber or the chopping
No, sorry,
down?
the actual chopping. Logging is what I guess I mean. Logging just levels so slow.
I mean, it was pretty slow before.
It's everywhere.
I mean, but I think that was the assumption is trees are everywhere, so it needs to level slower because trees are everywhere.
There's a gap. I am struggling to get to 150.
Okay, I guess I'm not at your curves yet.
Yeah, so I can harvest 3 or 4 stands of weird wood at this point and not get a skill up. But I mean, I'm right on the cusp of 150, which is the break point that would allow me to start logging ironwood. I'm 142. So there seems to be an XP issue there. Mining was fine. Skinning was faster than it's ever been.
Yeah, skinning I level without even thinking about it. It was sort of middling to level before, but it's completely effortless now.
Yeah, it was the first one I hit 200 on because just everything gave me so much XP. Anyway, basic game's in a good state. Server's unlocked again. No queues. Still maintaining, 1,200 population or so for the server.
Come join us.
Come join us.
Yep. If you are playing and are interested in either transferring or rolling, we are Syndicate on Themyscira, aka the Wonder Woman server. So the other half of the group has been playing a lot of Fallout 76.
We have.
There's a lot of games that have stuck around and have become pretty great.
Yeah.
As long as they've managed to continue to get a bit of support and so on and so forth. It's this
is kind of like the discussion that I think we had one of the nights you were not with us, Tam, but it feels like the redemption story is way more common than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I think that go ahead.
I missed that one too, but I had some I feel like I had some thoughts about that. We're not on one hand, the existence of FF14 has taught some larger game companies that if you can have some money and put it into your project, it can become good. But on the other hand, there are still a lot of attempts that aren't good. Bless tried to launch twice. Terra tried to launch twice. It's just we remembered the ones that stuck around, but there are a lot of failures here too.
I mean, I feel like Bless's problem is that it tried to launch multiple times, but learned nothing from any of the attempts.
But that's the usual case.
Yeah.
That's the more common case.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my thought. It's we sort of are getting more stuff, but also I think that the keeping the lights on costs compared to every other compared to what they used to be are much lower. So there's a lot of stuff that gets to hang on until it can
it actually reaches maturity.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's really, I don't know, it there's a lot of stuff that tries and fails, and it does stick around, but it doesn't really thrive.
Archie Age was another one I was thinking of. Launched, failed, relaunched, and exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still out there.
Because I mean, So like, okay. So like Fallout 70, to use Fallout 76 as an example, like when it launched, I mean, I feel like I remember talking about it, and basically two things torpedoed it for a number of people here who didn't play it. One was other players exist.
Yep.
And the other was there are no NPCs.
No human NPCs.
No human NPCs.
Yeah, it turns out there are some pretty good robot NPCs, but
there's some great robot NPCs.
But they also, they didn't really talk that up going into it.
They said there were robot
tried.
NPCs.
They said there were robots. Like
they didn't do a good job.
I still think it was a little awkward.
Yeah, but all of those Mr. Handies and stuff weren't in the game.
What do you mean?
Like Mr. Handy, like the robots that had personalities.
Yeah, they were.
I don't remember them.
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Rose was absolutely there.
I mean, Rose is part of the main quest line that's been in from the very beginning. So she must have been. And she's fantastic. I love Rose.
Rose is great.
Like, I didn't remember the dude at the teapot. Like, I remember going to the teapot, but I don't remember there was a bot at the teapot.
Yeah, there was a robot at the teapot, I want to say.
I mean, were dailies in the game from the very beginning? Because he's part of a daily. So maybe it's a daily that got added.
Did dailies go in with when they put the maps in?
Oh wait, dailies.
I think dailies went in with when they did the game board, which was much later.
Yeah, so they probably added him when they added dailies.
Yeah,
because he gives a daily quest.
Right.
But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that like now the game is unrecognizable. It's got multiple lines. There's interesting NPCs to talk to everywhere. It's if you liked Fallout 4 but wanted something that was a little bit more, I hesitate to say a little bit more friendly towards you just wandering, but it kind of is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And like, hey, it's got super detailed player housing that actually matters. That's
the camps are
really
pretty fun.
Cool.
I've seen some really cool camps.
I find the camps a little bit awkward to find a place to plop them down.
That is why they created the shelters.
Yep.
Oh,
I thought about this.
Don't know what shelters are.
Shelters are, do you want your own private instance player housing so you can put all of your stuff in there without all of the without as many build constraints?
Is this like a separately instanced section?
Mm-hmm. It's like your own little mini vault.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. See, I really like I like the building of the things out in the world because I have a lot of defenses for my camp. My camp has a lot of defenses. I like to put guns down and make sure things don't come near me. And it feels great. The camps feel super functional.
Yeah. Oh, they're incredibly functional.
Well, they've also got a bunch of prefab camps too, to where you can start with a predefined structure and then build onto it.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to pay some atoms or unlock via a game board for those. I don't think there are any of those that you just get for free, but yeah, there are a bunch of those.
Yeah, and the monetization is extremely whatever. Like the monetization feels like things I'm okay paying for. It's cosmetic stuff. Mm-hmm. It's some convenience stuff, and I can spin up my own personal server whenever I want. Yeah, plus the ability to create servers with custom rule, but private servers with custom rule sets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I've honestly been spending most of my time the past few days in the normal servers because it's Halloween right now, and so you can trick or treat at other players' camps. So you need other players around to be able to do that. But I can always drop back into a private server anytime I want to.
Yeah.
And it's just having that option is good.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious, now that you've done it, has anyone attempted to act aggressively towards you?
Not me. Well, so I did manage to accidentally get myself a wanted bounty of 10 caps because I unlocked a door in a workshop that another player had claimed. But so I went to Winter Spring and took off all my armor and stood in the center of Winter Spring until someone killed me to get rid of the bounty. That's the only time. And it took quite a while before anyone finally shot me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that would take some amount of time.
Because if you get yourself a bounty, the only way that bounty's going away is when another player kills you. There's no timeout on it or anything. But you can just, go to Winter Spring. Someone will be along.
So if you transfer over to your private world, does the bounty stay?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
That's
weird.
But yeah, it was really irritating because the reason I was in this workshop was because a daily quest sent me there to find 5 inert bombs. And so I was going around trying to find these bombs, and I was like multiple levels and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of need to go through here. This door is locked. Okay, I'll unlock the door. You're wanted. What? Whatever.
I forget. How does that work? Like claiming territory? Because I remember we did that.
So there's a bunch of workshops scattered about that have various like resource spawns in them.
Yeah.
So you clear out the monsters in it, and then you can spend a few caps to claim it. And once you've claimed it, you're able to build in it. And so you can build defenses and stuff. And the defenses, will protect it when monsters spawn, waves of monsters spawn to try and retake it from you. And then also, other players can come in and try to steal your claim away from you.
It's also an additional fast travel point for you.
It is.
Can you do that in private servers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just a pure PvE encounter at that point.
But at that point, no one's coming and stealing it from you.
Yeah, but there's still waves of monsters that'll, come to try and take it back.
And periodically, you'll get a message that they're attacking your base, and you need to go back there and defend it.
I am now. It's all coming back. See, like this is my challenge I'm having right now. Is I am like not played through the whole time, and I don't remember all of this stuff. And I'm like, I remember having a lot of fun with this, but I don't really remember all of the systems we were engaging with. But I do remember those workshops were real cool.
I don't know how many hours I played when it was under the Bethesda Nut launcher, but since Steam, it's around 30 hours that I put in. So not a ton, but like not compared to something like New World, but like a fair number. I've just walked around and done stupid stuff.
I remember this was very important, and this is how I was getting my fusion cores. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a few workshops that have fusion core generators that you can like. You hold the workshop long enough, some fusion cores will get created. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. It's coming back.
Yeah, and honestly, I've been playing it a lot like Valheim. Like the loop is very similar to me. Like have survival stuff out, go out and have my base, go out in the world, get a bunch of stuff, bring it back to my base. And like frequently, I don't think this is optimal, but frequently the loop of getting stuff back to my base, I can either be thoughtful and, dedicated about traveling back and dropping stuff off and so forth, or I can like hoof it, like, yep, I'm over encumbered. I'm gonna slowly make my way over there.
Yeah. Because being over your encumbrance, like you can still move, you can't dash, and your AP slowly drops as you move, and doesn't build back up as quickly.
Most importantly, you can't fast travel.
And you can't fast travel,
but you can still make it across the map if you need to.
Yeah,
but you can put down a safety tent while you're encumbered, can't you?
If you have Fallout first, you can put down your little survival tent. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could just dump stuff in your stash.
So you can access your stash and you can scrap things. Yep. Well, scrap junk.
I'm pretty sure that's
what there, but
I'm pretty sure that's what I would do when I was encumbered, was just dump stuff in the stash.
Yeah, I mean my stash is full. My stash is always full.
We did do the Pitt expedition, which was fun.
Yeah, the Pitt was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's like the first one of those.
Yeah, I think there's 2 expeditions in the game currently.
Okay, so how does an expedition work versus the rest of the content? I kind of assumed it was just going to unlock a new map.
It's an instance.
It's a little instance that you can take a team into, and it's entirely yours. And there's some missions there.
Yeah, we did it's like a chain of missions, and it was pretty neat, and you get some cool rewards at the end. I don't know, I thought I was going to come back to it and be like, my build sucks, my gear sucks, I'm incompetent at doing anything. And like my build wasn't great, and my gear was okay. My gear was and is actually much better than I thought it was, although I've still improved it. But like it hasn't actually been painful to do that. I've just done some quests, and sometimes quests have been rough, but not usually because I'm trying to do the wrong, trying to do them incorrectly for my build, or I'm fighting enemies that I'm just not suited for, much versus like there's a build problem. And also just starting fresh. I also started a new character, and I know Kodra also did this.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's a new experience.
Yes.
I think it's a really funny experience too.
Yes.
Because like the game's been out for a while, and so the starter experience kind of jokes about this, like, oh, we didn't think anybody was still in here.
Like next time, don't oversleep by months. Yeah, the overseer's real snarky when you come across her, and if you tell her that like, oh yeah, no, I just left the vault. Like, what? What were you doing there all this time?
Yeah, no.
Well, and
as opposed to like when we leave on day one, when we left on day one, it was like we were actively like trying to follow this trail. No.
But I feel like it does it without making me feel bad about it. It's just sort of funny.
Yeah, it's just being a little goofy about it.
And boy, there's a lot to do when you start a new character, and you're just like, I don't know, I can go to places and do things. I keep finding stuff. Like I knew that my character, that I had scoured the map pretty good as my previous character, and there's still tons and tons of locations that I haven't even discovered.
I have so many quests.
Yeah, it's not even quests. It's just like map locations that I didn't even know existed. But yeah, it's really fun, and it's almost anything that you might have. I mean, barring I just don't like Fallout, which is fair. But like outside of I just don't like Fallout, anything that you probably didn't like about it before is probably better now.
I think I need to go back to a melee build, because my problem with Fallout is I don't like VATS.
I don't know. Why do you say that? Because I don't feel like guns are that bad to not use with VATS.
It feels like they're less effective without VATS than they are with.
I don't know that I agree with that. I feel like I've definitely, again, I mostly don't use VATS on my current character, and I use a minigun.
I mean, you can certainly build to cause VATS to make your guns far more effective.
That's what my other character is going to be. But like, I mostly don't use VATS on the character I'm currently playing. I am having some mixed feelings about melee builds right now, but also maybe I don't have a very good melee build. But I feel extremely squishy even though I'm in power armor, but maybe I'm not in very good power. I'm having less of that experience that Tam was saying. I feel very fragile, and I feel like what I remember playing where I was both pretty beefy and my melee weapons were incredibly powerful, I'm not necessarily feeling that. But I was looking, and my melee weapon was getting pretty far in gap.
Yeah, I mean, also in fairness, the thing that we did together.
Well, this was even in the pit.
That's fair. I mean, the pit was rough. The pit was wrecking me too. But yeah, their dailies are interesting because their dailies really want you to try different builds. It's definitely a like, let's get you some variety thing. And they basically, from what I can tell, there's two broad types of dailies that they alternate between that are basic, that boil down to what kind of modifiers are on the enemies that you're fighting. And one of the and there's a whole bunch of variety of modifiers, and then there's two modifiers that show up repeatedly. And one of those modifiers is greatly enhanced perception, which is basically try to stealth. And the other one is like brutal armor piercing, which is the opposite, which is they will shred through your armor. And it's noticeable. And I like the variety, but That's why, I mean, I took my extremely stealth energy weapon sniper build and I created a power armor heavy weapons build. And like, I really don't have very much support for it other than stuff I randomly got in packs on my way up. But it does all right. It did take a bit of getting used to just like what I was doing again.
Yeah. I'm hoping by the time I'm no longer just absolutely obsessing over New World, people are still playing.
I'll probably be with this for a while because I really love Fallout, and this is more Fallout.
It's very Fallout-y.
It's very Fallout, and it is not trying to tell a story that ends.
Yeah. Like the initial story is very much, you've come out of the vault and what? Like this whole area, like everybody here died or left. And of course now, there's people coming back and so there are people around again. But like, so why? And what can we do about it? And oh God, there's these horrible disease things. We need to make sure we don't get that disease.
And let me tell you, you are from the weirdest vault ever. They put you underground to repopulate Earth and not suffer some weird social experiment.
Yeah, you're from the control vault. You're from the vault. You're from the vault that was actually for what they said it was for. Like, and their reasoning for this is the vault that was like closest to the university where they trained all the overseers. But yeah, so you like for once the overseer isn't a horrible person that you end up having to kill.
Yeah, there's some funny bits you could find. It's like, hey, unlike all the other vaults, this one is supposed to be run competently and not be a disaster. You're the non-disaster vault. This is important.
I do like the Nuka Shine side quest.
That was a lot of fun. And now I can make vintage Nuka Shine, the bad ideas drink.
With real sugar.
I mean, I love the fact that when you drink it, you just end up in a random place.
I mean, you're basically like super tough and can't be hurt for a while, and then you black out and wake up somewhere weird.
Incredible.
I think at this point we have gone over. Any final thoughts about anything?
I'll probably have more thoughts about Rabbids and Mario next week.
Well,
I wish everybody a happy Halloween and a happy November, and I'll see you all in December. Because I'm going to be on an airplane the next time that this podcast is being recorded.
Yep.
And I won't be back for a while.
Safe travels.
Agreed.
I think maybe I'll actually tweet some pictures and things or something this time. So I don't know. You can look at my Twitter, see if anything appears there or not. I don't know.
If Twitter still exists.
If Twitter still exists. If it hasn't been, killed by the muskrat.
If it hasn't mysteriously caught fire as soon as Tesla engineers start committing code.
Well, hopefully you enjoy the show, and we will see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.